Americans were slightly in shock when a Hispanic judge made a judgment that awarded President Donald Trump a victory in the case for the construction of the border wall between the United States and Mexico. Trump and much of his administration have pushed for the ability to construct a barrier to prevent or slow the rate of illegal immigrants from entering the country without following the current immigration laws. The federal judge ruled against the group of liberals who claimed that Trump's administrative team was abusive in their ability to waive requirements of environmental standards in lieu to build the wall. The obstruction came from primarily leftist groups hailing from California. Judge Gonzalo Curiel, who works out of South California, provided Trump just one more victory in regards to the wall, and the groups battling against it are not happy. Curiel essentially said that Trump's team had acted within their rights. They can continue working on plans for the massive border wall, which was a large part of Trump's campaign trail in 2016. Many people wanted the wall after being victims of illegal immigrants who commit a crime. The thought was that America has plenty of its own criminals, so it would only benefit the country to enforce the current border laws and ensure everyone is on the same page in regards to the law. Joe Saunders from the Conservative Tribune wrote more about the judgment that has many Democrats in an uproar. Both Congress and the executive share responsibilities in protecting the country from terrorists and contraband illegally entering at the borders. Border barriers, roads, and detection equipment help provide a measure of deterrence against illegal entries, Curiel wrote. Congress delegated to its executive counterpart the responsibility to construct border barriers as needed in areas of high illegal entry to detect and deter illegal entries. In an increasingly complex and changing world, this delegation avoids the need for Congress to pass a new law to authorize the construction of every border project. Those are pretty definitive statements. And considering that the opposition, according to ABC News, was built on threats the wall allegedly poses to endangered species like the Queen checker spot butterfly, the Riverside fairy shrimp, and the Pacific pocket mouse, they're pretty tough to argue with. So it was a convincing win. But what makes it even more satisfying for the Trump side is the judge in the case. Gonzalo Curiel is the same judge Trump famously tangled with on the campaign when Curiel was presiding over a lawsuit filed by students from the now-defunct Trump University. Curiel's ruling was slightly controversial, mainly because he and Trump had a slight clash in 2016. Their issue was an accusation that Curiel was biased due to his Mexican background. That turned into an enormous outrage by many liberals on social media who resorted to labeling Donald Trump as a racist. Regardless of the accusations of Curiel's potential to sway judgments based on his heritage, the clash between Trump and Curiel seemed to dwindle into a nothing burger, but was slightly maintained by numerous leftists on social media. CNN reported more details on the judgment by Curiel. The groups had challenged DHS' move to expedite construction of the prototypes and replacement fencing in San Diego on a number of grounds. The collection of lawsuits from the environmental advocacy organizations and the state of California argued that the Trump administration's waiver wasn't allowed by the law that created the overarching authority, and that the authority itself violated the Constitution. Curiel rejected each argument, saying the law and the nature of the border clearly give the DHS broad authority to build border barriers. Both Congress and the executive share responsibilities in protecting the country from terrorists and contraband illegally entering at the borders. Border barriers, roads, and detection equipment help provide a measure of deterrence against illegal entries, Curiel wrote. With Section 102, Congress delegated to its executive counterpart the responsibility to construct border barriers as needed in areas of high illegal entry to detect and deter illegal entries. In an increasingly complex and changing world, this delegation avoids the need for Congress to pass a new law to authorize the construction of every border project. The debate over a proposed border wall between USA and Mexico will carry on for quite a while as both sides fail to come to an agreement that benefits everyone. Many Americans want the wall to protect civilians from those who wish to commit a crime, do harm, or abuse the welfare system, which has been very generous and caused a mass amount of entitlement. Others negate the concept of the wall because they wish for an open border policy. Those who wish for the open border policy are often instructed to look at places like Germany, Sweden, and France to see how their policies have resulted in mass upheavals of crime and destruction. From the web powered by ZergNet Navy SEAL who killed Bin Laden tossed off plane, what really happened to Mike Holmes, the truth about the Obama sisters' awkward Olympics wardrobe malfunctions you can't unsee, why you don't hear about this Saved by the Bell star anymore, the disappointing double life of Tim Tebow.